Hey, it's me, Puppet DM, and I'm here to tell you all about the sponsors we have here at the Wandering Society. We're sponsored here by Mage Hand Press, makers of a bunch of 5th edition supplements, like the Book of Kobold or their series of new classes. And don't forget, Arcmada, the amazing sci-fi fantasy campaign setting for the world's greatest role-playing game. Be sure to check them out at store.mageandpress.com. Up next, we have Roll20. It's the platform we use here at the Wandering Society to play all of our games. It's easy to use, intuitive, and it now comes with dark mode. Be sure to check them out at roll20.net. We're also sponsored by Art Talsorian Games. Art Talsorian Games make great RPGs, and they've been doing so since the early 90s. Check their books. They've got Cyberpunk Red, which Simon tells me has been played here extensively, Castle Falkenstein, which also has been played here, and The Witcher, which has also been. Okay, we get it! Check them out at your FLGS or online at rtalsoriangames.com. Have you ever wanted to wake up and smell the coffee? Well, now you can with this next sponsor, Found Familiar. Get yourself some damn good coffee at foundfamiliar.com and use the code on the screen to get 15% off. What do you mean I can't drink coffee? What the fuck is felt? And we couldn't end this segment without talking about our good friends at Die Hard Dice. That's right. As a Dice affiliate, we are proud to partner with Die Hard Dice to bring you only the best in shiny click-clacks. Click-clacks? What is... Ow. You can check their ever-growing collection over at dieharddice.com and use the link below to get 15% off. You're putting this all on me? I better get a cut. Hey, hello everyone, welcome! We are Saturday, which means that we're playing Scion, Birth of the New Gods, and oh my god, what's going on with our Zoom? There we go. Woo, that was strange. Hi everyone, I am Simon at Wandering DM. Welcome to the Wandering Society. Like I said earlier, we're playing Scion. We're missing one player today. But we'll, since the group was split last week, or 2 weeks ago, we'll jump into each of their little respective situations. Let's leave it at that. But before we do so, and before we crank up the drama,
Let's just go around the table and introduce our cast of wonderful players. We'll start with the person to my right on the overlay, but this time we'll do top row. So we'll begin with Renee. Hi, hello.
Hi, I'm Renee Rhodes. I've recently returned to this stream after having COVID for a really long time. And I'm very glad to be back. Very glad for the trouble we're getting into. I play Morning. We both use she, her pronouns, and Morning is the Scion of the Morrigan, currently spirited away from the rest of the group to return to the garden home that she grew up in for an unknown period of time as time passes differently there. And we'll see what happens.
Up next, we have Hannah.
Hello, I am Hannah. In this game, I will be playing Kieran Gurney, Scion of Loki, who touched a monkey and disappeared.
I forgot.
What a Loki thing to do.
I forgot about that little part.
It's like,
And last but not least for today, we have Lynn.
hey, I'm Lynn. I'm playing Dee, daughter of Inari, who is, for the trouble that she has caused the last godling, is not a trickster godling. We both use she, her. And I'm in some, I think she's in some trouble. We'll see. I don't know.
Nah. But speaking of being in trouble, being spirited away, and touching monkeys, what happened, dear players? Can you help our viewers remember what happened last time? If we do a brief recap, what exactly got you? Let's record scratch this game and just start with, this is us, the Godling. Here's how we got into this situation.
So we got drunk on Mount Fuji and shot a bunch of dead tuna fish with arrows. And if that does not sum up who we are as godlings, I'm not sure what does. But this is all in the name of getting the attention of a god by pissing them off, sort of, but not too much. And we're not sure where we landed.
We will actually start with You know what? Can the three of you roll a d10?
Each of us individually?
And each of you individually. I mean, because I could start with anyone. So since I'm
cool, great. That was a high
indecisive, number. An 8.
I accidentally still need to pull up Roll20, but I'm just rolling a d10 really fast. I'll tell you.
Oh yeah.
4.
8, 4, and 4. So we will start with D.
Okay, good.
I always forget something, and it's almost always Roll20. You'd think I'd learn by now.
Recently I've tended to not open Roll20 when I start games.
Yeah, I always hear it. Always like when I hear the word roll, and it's just like, oh shoot, I should probably like someone. It usually isn't me that has to make the first roll, so it's like when I hear like, oh shit, I need to open it.
So we'll start with D. If I recall correctly... Oh, no, wait. There was the person in the crowd was Finbar. Finbar, son of Maine. Kieran touched a monkey. Morning jumped into a
pit.
Pit.
And D just stayed there from what I recall.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I hadn't introduced your thing. Okay. You remember the famous number 8? As you stand there by yourself, aside from the small crowd of people looking, you notice that the wind stopped blowing.
Mm.
The mortals that were, bearing witness to this strange scene have stopped moving. And all around you, where there should be stone, rock, maybe some moss, lush grass begins to grow. It takes maybe the space of a minute. It grows from you and expands outward in this sort of spiral motion until it covers pretty much the entire sort of plateau you found yourself on. So not quite the summit of Mount Fuji, but not too far from where the permanent snow line is.
Mm-hmm.
That said, even said snow from afar begins to twinkle and glimmer with just this like sheen of clearly something supernatural, but not necessarily threatening.
Okay. You know what? As long as it's not like lightning, it's good. Lightning would mean someone else, and
There's no Reiju right now. No, in fact, there is, through the grass that keeps growing until it reaches about your waist. There's this movement that you can see, where more or less where morning disappeared.
Mhm.
Just blades of grass being disturbed just a little, and then somewhere else to the right, another like group of blades of grass similarly disturbed. And if you look around you, it sort of surrounds you. 8 of them, in fact, 8 like clusters.
Mm-hmm.
And from one of those clusters jumps up an elegant, if oversized, fox with 9 tails. As the fox jumps over, like above the grass, it sort of floats there in the air, sort of held aloft by like an invisible... It looks like it's floating, so like an invisible pool, I guess, would probably be the closest. It's not quite flying like what you would expect of like a character levitating or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Its mouth doesn't move. But you can hear, not just in your mind, like you can hear out loud the tut, tut, tut. Daughter of mine, is this really how you treat others of our kind?
Oh, she'll bow. It's like, oh no, it is good to. Apologies. There was no disrespect to my heart. It was only meant to get in touch with Hachiman. We were. I was instructed to have some sort of be able to contact him, do something like this. Although now that I think of it, taking the word of a Tengu probably wasn't necessarily the best idea. or at least heeding all of it.
You see disappointment in the fox's face when you mention, a Tengu.
Yes.
And they just reply, did you not think that Sochobo might not be entirely truthful, if helpful? You have certainly attracted the attention of many of us. I cannot stay. He's letting me just come into contact with you. One more time. I haven't seen you in what feels like an eternity.
Yeah, at least this is sooner than the first time. It's good to see you, though. I had a question for you. The reason why you can't visit, is that with all of them, or is it just with you and this pantheon?
Inari starts a sentence. It's, but give me just a quick second. Inari says, it's, and then another voice, gruff, louder, angrier, says, none of your business. And the fox that was held aloft falls back into the grass and disappears.
Mm-hmm.
As the grass around you burns into this pattern of, same spiral as it came outward from you, but this time it burns in this spiral pattern, forming 3 perfect teardrops.
Mm-hmm.
And a volley of arrows cordons you off from the mortals who still haven't moved or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the voice booming like thunder. You have but 1 minute to explain this desecration.
Dee will just go to the ground and bow as hard as she can. Apologies. We've had great difficulty in contacting contact the gods, and I was instructed this was a way, and time is of the essence, and I will be honest, I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but I would not have done this if it wasn't dire. This is about one of your scions, or former scions, Yoshi.
The voice doesn't reply, but the ground shakes like one quake. Cracks form all around you on the plateau. There's not even there are no words in the mortal language that can explain the rage that this being is feeling at the mention of the name Yoshi. There are very few ways to reach out to the divine child. And you disrespected one completely, violated the sanctity of it just so you could ask me about him? There's movement in the crowd. Someone is shoving people aside. A fairly tall human. Well, looks human by all account. An older gentleman, and by older I mean bordering 100 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Except he is not like so frail and thin as to look like 100.
Mm-hmm.
But there is definitely, the moment you look at him, you see that this appearance in all respect is definitely that of someone who would be maybe like the peak of what a human could aspire to be in both longevity but also health, spryness, if you will, in how they move. Even their muscle mass seems to be quite considerable.
Mm-hmm.
For an very elderly person. His head is completely shaved, bald, but he has like a kind of long mustache, reaches like just beneath the corner of his mouth, and he's dressed with a very simple Buddhist robe. You've seen his likeness before, Emperor Ojin.
Mm-hmm.
Well, according to a lot of people, the mortal who housed sort of the spirit of Hachiman, who was like the mortal representation of him, which, now being a Scion and all that, is probably more the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
As in, Hachiman just took Emperor Ojin was just a persona that an appearance they gave themselves. But he walks up to you, gingerly picks up one of the arrows as he moves past the cordon of arrows. What has he done?
She's saying this. She's still bowed. He's gotten his armor back. We were unfortunately tricked, and not realizing the extent of what he was got him his armor back, and that he has allied himself with another to gain back some of the power that he was denied.
When you say that, you hear a distant rumble of thunder. Far away, there's probably a storm somewhere in a region near Mount Fuji. Or someone's listening. Hachiman continues. What am I supposed to do with this information? He is not my problem anymore.
That may be true, but I think it's unfortunately he's grown to the point where if we don't stop him, he will become everyone's problem. And that it's our doing that he had his armor back. That we have to do it. I'm not asking for any of your assistance, but any guidance on this.
And we're just going to pause that here for a second.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to move to... Kieran and Morning both rolled a 4, right? So... Odd Kieran, even Morning. Morning.
Oh.
Keeping Kieran for last. At least for today.
The best for last.
You feel yourself, Morning, fall through this pit for what seems like an eternity. Seems like every time you look over your shoulder or you try to spin around to see where you're falling, where the ground is, it's always at the same distance. Until it isn't. And you crash through foliage, branches, and fall to the ground. The lush green forest floor of the garden. Not on fire, and not with a giant eye in the sky.
I think that typically Morning would land on her feet given her epic dexterity, but
Yeah.
even given the circumstances, she stumbles a bit. And tries to push herself up and is just frazzled, looking around, peering through the trees, trying to catch any glimpse of any of the creatures who live here, any spirits. Definitely, I think she immediately starts making her way through, just trying to catch a glimpse of anything she can.
As you walk through the woods, there are no beaten paths. There's no road. There's no... even like a hunting trail. There's none of that. It's just pure wilderness all over. There were some sections of the gardens that were like that. Just, sacred woods as far as the eye can see. You walk about for maybe 10-ish minutes. It's not very long. You don't see any of the wayward souls that are here normally, awaiting, a final judgment maybe, or just living or existing, I should say, in the garden. You don't see any animals. However, what you do see after these 10 minutes of walking is this great pillar of radiant energy, like plasma almost. It cackles like lightning. It feels warm, though you only feel the heat when you look at the pillar. If you look elsewhere, it seems like the heat is gone. The cackling of lightning remains. The crackle of lightning, I should say, sorry, remains. The light that the pillar emits remains. And this pillar of light goes from the ground all the way up in the sky. Though it seems to glitch when it crosses the canopy of the trees. It tries to remain stable, one large column, but the moment it hits a little too many of the branches or the leaves, it flickers and almost like tears in places, like you would see in a lava lamp. Right, there's like a piece that just tears free from the pillar and just like floats up before merging back again into the pillar later
Have
on.
I ever seen this before?
Nope.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
This
Worth
is-
asking.
This is a brand new, and by the way, it has the width more or less of a sequoia tree.
Okay.
So you would need a good like 20, 30 people to...
Well, I'm
Like-
going to start by walking around it. So, looking around the base, looking up at it.
As you walk, do you go left or right? We'll start with that.
Left.
Left. So you start going left, clockwise, sorry. And you reach about like half the circumference. And you are stopped by an invisible wall.
What?
It feels like glass to the touch. And you can see the forest keeps going on the other side. It's not like a pit. It's not a like end of a world type of thing. It's like an invisible wall. If has Morning played any like games on her phone?
Oh gosh. I think I'm gonna ask Lynn if Dee would have taught any games. Like,
Yes, I think so. Yes.
so like what kind of games would we have probably played at the cabin?
I think she probably would have showed you like the little like a Peggle game or something like that, because we can't do any of like the Pokemon Go games because we're in a spot where like that like there are none here.
No, none showing up outside. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird. It's like this isn't even on any map or anything. Okay, yeah.
She like 100% steered Morning away from anything that had like a ton of micros. Like no, we'll buy these ones are
Microtransaction
bad.
games.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because Morning also has no real concept of money.
like-
So
Your bill is like, oh my.
You can
$10,000?
summon $10,000 a month.
That was before. That's new.
Yeah,
Okay.
but this is like she hadn't had to spend money until
Oh
Yeah.
no.
yeah. So like it just was like a weird level of responsibility. But yeah, sure. And now there are other things to put that money towards, but even still, I think she gets like some tips and are just like the D, what do I do? And like ask D for games to buy or stream or whatever.
So much like in the games you play, those that have invisible walls, if you try to take a step further, instead of walking forward, you sort of shift to the side, like you're gently pushed to the side. If you try to go back to where you were, that works. But going forward, just like a mime with an invisible wall almost, but you can feel it. You can feel this wave of something. It's not violent. It's just softly pushing you despite your strength, despite all of the power that you have. This is like a parent almost, like moving a child out of the way, shoving them aside, like gently, as in like, no, you're not supposed to go there.
As an indignant child, I am going to go around the other side of the tower and see if it's the same thing.
And it does exactly the same thing. And that's when you hear a commending voice from behind you. A woman's voice, a voice you've heard before but hadn't heard in a while. Strange, isn't it?
I whirl around.
There, leaning against the tree in the shade of the garden, stands tall and confident as usual, the dark-haired warrior queen, the Morrigan. Still, with the like flowers and raven feathers in her hair. She, as opposed to the first time you met, when she was wearing almost like very little clothing, because Celtic warriors wear almost nothing. She's this time wearing a what you could consider fashionable armor wear. It's a kind of a breastplate that looks more fashionable than actually like would protect, though you just looking at it get the feeling that nothing could go through the steel or whatever material this is made of. It looks like clothes, it looks like some fancy costume, but it is probably some of the sturdiest stuff ever. And she extends a hand towards you to motion you to come closer, or to just move away from the invisible wall, and you notice her left hand is burnt to a crisp.
What is it? I'll move towards her.
It doesn't want any one of us to go through. In fact, I don't think it wants any of you here either.
Here, as in the garden, or here?
Yes, or my realm. Welcome home, daughter of mine.
I wasn't sure it was real.
It used to be grander. It used to be more terrifying, awe-inspiring even. Rolling hills and plains and lakes and vales and woods and battlefields that stretch as far as the eye can see. And now I am confined to this grove. This pale shadow of what is mine. Of what is yours. I tried leaving, and she holds up her left hand, which you see is just completely barbecued. You can even see the like you can see like a finger bone poking out. It doesn't heal.
Why?
Something a lot more powerful than I have decided that this should remain my prison instead of my realm.
That's not fair.
No, it is not. And as she says that, she sort of with the other hand, the one that was leaning against the tree, she sort of just grabs at the tree and breaks through like bark and the trunk, just leaving an imprint of her hand in the tree in rage. Whatever you did up there, it was enough for me to send a call at great cost. I'm glad you listened.
I am enjoying the world up there, but I miss this. I miss home.
Homesick. I know the feeling. You might return to it someday. Unless this, and she points to the pillar, doesn't want you to.
What can I do about it?
You stand outside my cage. You can probably do a lot more than I here. I don't even have my birds to keep me company. You are the only sentient being I can communicate with. You're the only person I have spoken to since times immemorial. I can't give life, a soul to these plants, these rocks. I used to have subjects. I used to have armies. I used to have something. Now I'm left to wander this ever-receding grove. Until, I guess, whatever this is, decides that my time has come, and she looks at her left hand, finishes the job.
Mother, since we last spoke, I've been practicing my skill and growing in strength. I am not powerful, but I do want to help.
And help you shall. You stand, well, not in this very moment, but when our conversation ends here, you will go back to the mortal realm. I get the feeling that you are not quite divine enough to be caught in this prison. At least I'm hoping not, otherwise I have just condemned you to an eternity of spending time with your mother.
I can think of worse things. But I understand your meaning. And besides, I have to get back. I have followers now.
You have amassed an army.
Well, yes.
You make me proud. What of their numbers? How many are they?
Oh, gosh, what's normal? I mean, in the tens of thousands at this point.
She looks genuinely surprised. You have exceeded what I thought you would be able to do in such a short time. It has been a short time, hasn't it?
It has, yes. A few months, nothing more.
A few months to amass tens of thousands of people. Perhaps my fate is not as grim as it may seem. From outside this jail, maybe you can lay siege to it. Find a way to break me out. I care very little about the mortal realm. I just want to have what is mine again. I deserve more than this. I am a queen.
Where should I begin?
And we'll pause there. Hey, Kieran.
That's
Ye-
me. I'm Kieran.
Hello.
Hello.
You, after poking the monkey, or at least, poking his finger, touching his finger, you disappear in a flash of light. And reappear in the exact same place. Except the monkey is gone. D, Finbar, the humans, all gone. You're still standing on this plateau of stone. There are no banners around. The sky is the exact same. And instead of the monkey before you is a man with long blonde hair, a leather hat, and clothes that are very reminiscent of a almost like a leather jerkin, almost armor-like. Something that you would imagine a skald wear for war. Around his shoulder is this impressive dark red cape. Thick and long, that just, the train goes on, seems forever. Clasped by a golden brooch of a snake, a serpent eating its own tail. Took a while for you to call, Loki says.
I'm sorry. Do I know you?
How rude. Don't you recognize your old dad? Your pal, it's me. Or would you rather I take on a more easily identifiable face, and with like a wave of a hand, this blonde Viking turns into a very dapper Tom Hiddleston, rolling his eyes.
So, that's more like it. This is a man I recognize.
This is a pale imitation of who I... Never mind those details. How are you, son?
How am I? Well, you got a lot of nerve asking. I mean, like, you dropped me off in the middle of nowhere, which you're, congrats, you're a godling, baby god, a demigod, whatever. And then you never make any attempt to communicate with me. You never call. You give me like a sack of things you found in your glove compartment, and you say fuck off and good luck.
Would you have rather I tie you up to a tree, strike you with lightning, and pluck one of your eye out?
Is that like okay? So so I've played God of War, right? So
Yes.
it's like that, yeah.
It would be your grandfather.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And as far as I am concerned, you may think I didn't try to reach out to you, but I was busy. And with a wave of a hand, he parts the sky and the clouds. And where the afternoon slightly overcast sky is now just an infinite expanse of darkness, stars, and this weird crisscrossing aurora borealis that you've seen before, like a net cast all over the universe. You are very important to me, Kieran, but also my work is very important to, let's say, the entire universe. I know you might like to feel special, son, but right now, and maybe for the foreseeable future, the entire universe takes precedence over your hurt feelings about the gifts I gave you.
All right. So exactly what is this that I'm supposed to be impressed by?
This is the only thing that stands between, I guess, your world and the complete annihilation of your world. What do you think, I'm some deadbeat father who just gave you a bag of trash and then left? I have some bigger concerns. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah. Was one of them the kid of your other kid that tried to kill me recently? Because that seems like a pretty big concern. Didn't
Yeah.
reel him in at all, did you?
Kid of the other kid? Who are you talking about?
The guy with the here he'll pull out the knife and show it to him. This guy,
Oh, we never really interacted. That's
is that so?
Lucius Lupus something has to do with a wolf.
Oh, good to know. You keep track of all your kids.
I keep track of the kids I like, Kieran. As far as I'm concerned, you may sire someone, but it doesn't mean that they will grow up to be, the giant world-eating monster you thought they were. Surprise! You can't control your child, which is something that apparently everyone else thinks they can do. I gave you freedom. Have I forced you to do anything? Have I given you tasks or demanded ritual sacrifices in my name? Or forced you to... what is it? Forced you to, enroll in this bird person's school for reject scions or something. No, I didn't.
Is there really a bird person school for reject scions?
I think it's called the Percy Jackson series.
I don't know, you tell me. You're standing on this mountain here. I don't even know where exactly this is on your world. It's
I think we're in Japan. If we're
great.
still in Japan.
Yeah, there are quite a number of places I'm not allowed in. Mostly because of bad press. Anywho, you and your friends have just done something very unwise. And I felt like I needed to... I'm not gonna say punish you. What is it that mortals say? I'm not angry, just disappointed.
Oh, you wound me, Pa.
Good. You should feel wounded.
Oh,
But
come
other than
on.
that,
You're a trickster god. You really going to get mad at me for causing a little mayhem?
the mayhem you're causing is causing this. And he points to like an area of the sky. You would notice the let's call it like an intersection of like two auroras is flickering like a bad neon.
Mhm.
You're breaking reality is what you're doing by I don't know, insulting an entire culture, an entire pantheon, and thinking that just putting a grab bag together of like symbolism and whatever it is you tried to do will actually, what is it that you were trying to do?
It was very well thought out. Okay, we took everything that made up his like representation in the pantheon, and we tried to do the antithesis of it. You know, to try and attract his attention, things that would antagonize him a little bit, just a little bit, and get his attention to come down and help us. I mean, if you helped us instead, then that would preclude any need for us to have any help from any other gods. But I don't see you helping us, so.
Boo hoo hoo, we're not able to deal with our petty problems, so we're gonna go to mom and pop because they can do everything.
Well, yeah, usually
Why
that's what
don't they-
happens. You go to your parent and they help you. They don't just give you a lighter and tell you to fuck off.
I gave you tools. I gave you fire just like I gave fire to humanity a long time ago.
Conflicting sources say who gave fire to humanity. Regardless,
Oh, you think it's some Greek, what's this? Prometheus or whatever his name is? Right? That's who? Gonna get his entrails pecked for the rest of eternity. Doesn't it feel similar to another story involving yours truly?
I mean, I don't know.
It's almost like sometimes we're all the same. But that has very little to do with any points to this guy. If you promise not to try to actively destroy your own reality, I guess I can perhaps ask what I can do to help. Actually, what is the issue that requires you to utterly ruin one of the anchor points of my net?
Well, see, we've been having a wee problem with another Scion who was rejected by his own god and shacked up with another. Yoshi, any familiarity?
Nope.
No. You haven't been watching us at all.
Work.
Child!
He just like pats your head and says, yes, that was a beautiful drawing. I'll put it on the fridge, and happy birthday and all that shit. So this Yoshi is stronger than Wolfie McWolfface?
Well, so far, yeah. He's like combined himself with some godly living armor, and like he has made a menace of himself in our base. He's managed to get back there and like spawn scorpions inside of our house, like big scorpions, like giant scorpions. So like our house isn't even safe, and you know, we can't go anywhere in the world without this guy being a constant threat to us. You know, this guy in his nasty armor, and you know, he's antagonizing most of all D, who is completely harmless. Like, you don't antagonize D. And I mean, it's just a big mess. That if there's like something you can do to help us out.
There's a problem in the playground and you want me to interfere.
Yeah, I want you to kick the other boy's ass.
You know the ramifications for doing something like that?
I don't know. I would assume they're different in like god politics.
Yes. Because more often than not, when we do something like that, countless humans die.
Okay.
Need I refer to many of the many wars that happened on... Mortals tend to make shit by themselves if left alone for an extended period of time. But there was a time when many of the conflicts that occurred were because of... we'll call them proxy wars or interventions. Even within, you know, our own families. And that's why there's a net around the world now, and that's why I will not go down and kick some baby's ass. And we're gonna pause there for a second. We're gonna go to break. And when we come back, we're gonna have the second part of whatever this is, whatever's happening. Because definitely something's happening. But we'll see all of that in a few minutes. Stick around, everyone. Get something to drink, get something to eat. We'll be back in like 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah, that's it. I don't have anything else to say. Bye-bye. Hey! We're back! Hello! The video cut off rather quickly, I'm sorry. So let's go back to the first person. D.
Cool.
You are still with Achiman in on the middle of this plateau. And I just forgot the last thing you said. Shit. What was it?
It was about like Yoshi and like him like being in league with Raijin and stuff like that.
Ah, yes. Rumbling of thunder in the back.
Yeah.
And
Good rumbling of thunder. Good stuff. Only good things.
He is no child of mine anymore.
That being said, he is now in possession of an object that is yours. And we'll do our best to get it back.
And why is it that you needed me?
You know the power he uses. That armor. If there's anything, we are going around with the very little guidance.
I can see
not
that.
Not a lot to go on, and what guidance we have told, given suggestion to do this. So if you had anything that could help us get the armor back and deal with Yoshi. Because also I think maybe the demeanor he left us with is that he wanted to right some wrongs in his mind as well.
I did no such wrongs.
Like I said, in his mind. Judging by how he is, you had to do what you had to do.
Please expand on your thought, little godling.
He seemed rather vindictive, treacherous, and is willing to ally himself with Titans to get whatever power he thought he deserved.
Not my problem, then. Not my son. Not my problem. And as he says that, another voice chimes in. Inari. Though you do not see the nine-tailed fox, you hear your parents' voice as Inari says, I think that's far enough, Hachiman. You don't need to torture my poor child just because you did not like how she reached out to us. And Hachiman to reply, we are already constrained in how often we can intercede in the mortal realm. And they have chosen this pathetic quarrel to see, this, Inari, is why we should keep them all on a short leash. This is why we can't allow them free reign in their world. They go about and wreck and ruin the things we've spent eons building in Inari. No. That is taking it too far. Our children need freedom. And just because yours did not turn out the way you expected, he is no child of... Enough. We can take this quarrel elsewhere. Our time, like you said, is limited. I will speak with my daughter now. And Hinari, older man, 100 years old, stomps away like a petulant child, throwing a tantrum. He even pushes one of the mortals to the ground as he disappears. And this time from the grass, you see the figure, androgynous, long, black hair, the white kimono with cherry blossoms on it. I apologize for his behavior. And I will deal with the consequences. I would advise...
You shouldn't. It was our idea. This
Yes.
desperate, and we this felt like the only way.
I agree completely. I should not have kept you in the dark. I see, as opposed to my compatriot, I see the errors of my ways. I do not have a whole lot of time before our jailer comes back. So listen, and listen well. Your world has been cut off from ours. Some would argue for the benefit of mankind. Some are on the fence, and some are completely opposed to the idea. However, things slip through the cracks. Things that normally go unseen, invisible. Or some that were just maybe too powerful to be caught by our captors. My daughter, I believe that the being, this Yoshi, has allied himself with is one such creature. You were right when you called it a titan. It is indeed a force to be reckoned with. But we can do very, very little to stop them. We can do very little to help. Most of my powers were spent giving you yours. And before you say anything, I regret none of it. If it helps, I can I can perhaps give you a bit of advice. Yoshi is not as lost as you might think he is. And sometimes defeating an enemy does not mean removing them from the board completely. Deep down, Yoshi is still more human than God. And while he might have allied himself with Raijin, he doesn't wield the power that Raijin does. And Raijin, much like ourselves, can't intervene as often as Yoshi thinks he can. This is as far as I can go. This is the best I can do. With the net that's been cast over us, there's nothing tangible that I can give you. I am so sorry.
Don't be sorry. You're doing what you can. From the situation I can gather. But I'll keep that in mind, your advice. And you know what? Feel a little bit makes me feel better, because certainly if the advice was you have to duel him, I'm in a bit of trouble. That wouldn't have go extremely well. So I think maybe we can figure our way out. But thank you.
A duel will happen.
Oh,
It just might not need to be handled with blade.
that is what I'm hoping. But it was, despite the beside the severity of the situation, it was good to see you again. And I keep hoping that it will be sooner than later we can do this again. Hopefully without making anybody mad again.
Hopefully. It was good to see you again.
Was.
Can I give you one bit of advice?
Of course.
When it comes down to it, and you have no choice but to take on Yoshi, make sure you do so somewhere that favors you over him.
I'll keep that in mind. I think we're going to need everything we can possibly have on our side to deal with this.
I would avoid stormy nights. And Ari says with a smile.
I'm starting to think maybe just avoid the water in general. Had some issues with fish. I forgot that tuna were that big. But yes, I'll make sure it's a nice day.
We'll see each other again.
Yeah.
Fairly certain.
I think before anything fades, I think she's gonna give Inari a hug.
And they will return it. You can feel under their kimono a layer of fur. It's not like direct skin as it would with like a human.
Mm-hmm.
And as Inari pulls back from their embrace, there you see the like fan of 9 golden tails.
Mhm.
We will see each other again. I don't know where, I don't know when. But the next time we meet might be our last. And he looks to the sky where you see now the crisscrossing pattern of all these aurora borealis.
I'll do my best to make sure it's not. I have a lot of catching up to do.
Yes. Also, give my regards to Sojopo.
Oh, I will.
And Inari warps into a kitsune again. And just jumps into the ground, like the burnt grass there was, just like it was just a puddle of water, right? A body of water. And the buzzing of voices and whispers and gasps from the crowd begins to take hold again, but we're just gonna go back to the garden for a sec. As Morgan says, this prison will be the death of me if you cannot help me, daughter of mine.
Where do I begin?
Find our jailer. Kill
What do
him
you
if
know
you
of them?
must. I don't know. I don't even know if it's a him, to be fair. But I get the feeling that it's on your side, not on mine.
I suppose that makes it an easier task for me.
It should. I don't know where they are, but they have to be somewhere. What you did upset something. Is it the structure of this prison? Is it a door you've created? Perhaps one that can let you in, but not me. Find whoever did this, make them pay. Force them to free me if need be. Free us all if you can.
I will.
And if you can only free one person, I will hope it is your mother.
I mean, I think it would be. I do have other friends. But I'm going to fight.
Can they fight?
I'm ready to fight. My friends?
Yes.
Sometimes it depends. One is good at like throwing snakes and setting fires, and one's good at like talking to things. less so people, but lots of good at talking to things. They're very talented. Just not as much fighters.
That's alright. You do not need just fighters in your army. Nor
That's
should you
true.
strive for that.
I mean, they always help in any fight. Whether it's with a distraction or whispered magic, they've given me the advantage many times. And one of my friends is working on his ability. He's got a club, and I have seen him practicing with it. I'm very proud.
The older man with a bat.
Yes, with the bat.
Yeah, Ogma once told me about his son. Small world, isn't it?
Yeah. I love it, though. It's weird to have always heard about it and finally be there. But it's nice. And I found a good group of people. They've helped with my followers and my aspirations. I don't know that I could fully become a warrior queen without their help.
I see you hold them dear. You form strong bonds with them. But remember, daughter of mine, when the moment comes, remember who is your mother. And who should be the most important.
I know.
Did you know that there are others?
Scions?
Yes. Captive.
Captive.
You might want to look into that. I
Alright.
have a feeling that their captor is somehow linked to, and she looks at the pillar again, to ours.
My friend, the Scion of Ogma. He is a researcher. We'll see if we can find any leads.
Thank you.
We will find leads. We'll find whoever this is. And we'll free you all. I'm confident.
I count on you. I will spare you the "you are our only hope" speech, but
I get that reference now.
but there are not a lot of you left in your world. Not a lot of you that can influence the course of events. I'm counting on you, daughter of mine. Make me proud.
I will. We will. There may not be many of us, but we are strong in varying ways, but strong. And we're stronger together.
I hope, for your sake, I hope. You hear, as you're, these last, couple of sentences, you start to hear the crackling of lightning being louder and louder, even if you're not looking at the pillar. And Morrigan looks at the pillar, but also past the pillar and says, "It's doing it again. I think it's time for you to go." And you see the pillar begins to move. It doesn't, like, despite being made of, like, plasma or fire and lightning, it doesn't burn anything it touches. It doesn't destroy. It just moves, like, slides slowly, like it was, walking through, or being slid through, like, thick mud. But it moves a good, maybe 4 or 5 feet closer to you and Morrigan.
I'll be back for you. Stay safe in the meantime. Morning's eyes kind of drift to her wounded hand.
I don't suppose you know of any friends that can tend to wounds.
I might.
Then I might want to meet them one day.
You'll meet all of them. Like I said, they're very skilled, each in their own way. And I think you'll like Dee. She's been very helpful with my following.
Then I will see you again, she says, stepping back into the woods, waving sadly away as you feel yourself again being, like, held aloft, fly back up above the clouds, above the crack, above the pit. And at some point, it's like gravity shifts, flips, and you fall back down, but this time you fall from the sky onto the ground next to Dee.
Dee! Do you think you can heal a really badly burned hand?
Oh, hey, good, you're here. I'm not sure, but I mean, I could try.
I bet you could.
And while you two are still there, no sign of Finbar, no sign of Kieran. Which we'll get to Kieran.
Oh, boy.
So I gave you freedom. I gave you everything. You are, where were we? Yes. Ungrateful child.
I feel like the metric for gratitude is a little bit skewed. Yeah, I didn't tie you to a tree and pluck out your eyeball feels a little extreme.
Yet it's not.
No, it feels sort of draconic. You know what I mean? I feel like there are better things that you could do to prove that you love me as your only living child, as far as I know. You know,
You want to tell them that? You want to tell that to your grandfather?
is he here?
Thankfully, he's not. But if you want any motions to, like, the crisscrossing of auroras, I can send you to him.
You know, I'd rather not be sent further up the ladder. I'd rather get back to Earth. But is there really nothing more you could give me? You know, oh, I have a question. Can I shapeshift?
I don't know, can you?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
Maybe. To be fair, Sleipnir and Fenrir never shapeshifted, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, but like,
I don't
what
think
would
even
I do with a
hell can.
horse.
Yeah, what?
I'm not a horse.
Not this time.
This.
Well, I mean, you've never been a horse, but there was this
Can't-
one time where there was a horse and a snake and a wolf and a lot of other things. You should ask Zeus about the other animals. I kind of stopped trying to collect them. He never did. Stop, I mean. And, that's besides the point. If me helping you is going to stop you and your friends from endangering what little protection your realm has from utter destruction, I will help you. I'm fairly certain that none of your friends' parents would.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like
Which makes me the better
their help
dad.
is like a little front loaded, so they like had help from the start instead of being kicked in the ass and told to fend for themselves in the wide world. So, I feel
Uh-huh.
like a little bit of, back payment is owed for the whole like abandoning me to the great void.
How often has my key helped you?
It's that's fair. That's fair.
How
But,
many times did you set yourself on fire? to solve
You know what? I feel
problem.
like you can't take credit for me setting myself on fire. I feel that's my sort of shtick there. That's something I figured out for myself. It
What
would
did
be
you
nice
think
if you
you
could give me like
inherited it from?
a weapon. I don't know.
You
Can I
want-
have like
Oh, you want to?
I wanna maybe, like,
toys.
I don't know. Can I have a crown? Something flashy.
I will give you a weapon to help with your little problem, if that's what you want.
Oh, that would be great. I mean, without help, I can't, say for sure that we won't continue to break the universe because, we're doing our best, but there's only so much we can do. We're, stupid mortals. We're not, horses and snakes or whatever else you've chosen to like copulate with in the great world to create your progenies.
They were also mortals to begin with, so have a little faith in yourself. But also, I get that you're very stupid. Listen, gotta make this as plain as can be. You handling your little playground issues with the other Scion is all fine and good, as long as it remains between you and the other children. It's when you try to mess with bigger things that this is at risk. And there's not a whole lot of us maintaining it. So I would advise against doing what you just did on that mountain. Because we're technically not on said mountain. I'll give you your weapon. I'll give you a bit of advice. I'll give you 2 pieces of advice.
And she'll help us.
I will give you a weapon and 2 pieces of advice. And that's it. I'll deliver the weapon when you get back to Earth, I guess. It is a very dangerous weapon that I will give you. Very dangerous.
That's fine. I'm responsible. I can take care of it.
There's only one use So you make sure that you use it against that little baby friend of yours. That wayward child, whatever his name was.
One use like once ever, or like one use like a drill can only be used for drilling?
Both. Let's say both. Let's say that I am trying to maintain a certain aura of mystery around what I do, but apparently you are unable to just take me at my word.
You're Loki! Since when has anybody been able to take you at your word? That's like your whole thing.
I would expect my own flesh and blood to trust me.
That's asking a lot, Da.
Why? Because I didn't give you a fancy weapon? From what I recall, your friend D got handed over a box of Uncle Ben's.
D can also talk to inanimate objects and like spirits and shite. She could like call on the elemental auras of things around us to see what's going on and influence them. What do I have?
You
I can
influence fire. The very first thing that kick-started this civilization of apes. I have given you the freaking building blocks of reality. You can make things appear by just willing them to be whatever you want them to be.
I can.
What do you think the key is for?
It's like this big, Da.
Oh. Because size absolutely matters.
So
maybe the problem is not the key. Maybe the problem is the one handling the key, who doesn't know how to think outside the box.
Da, you wound me. Your own son.
Oh, don't do this shtick with me. That's not going to work. I've invented pretend wounded.
It's fine. I see. That's how your da treated you. So naturally, you pass it on to the way that you treat your son. I see. I got it.
Psychology won't work on me. I'm far older
Fucking
than that.
goddamn it.
Far older than this. And also, as far as I'm concerned, a prisoner of fate, though. It was bound to happen, it happened, and everything that should happen will happen. I don't have the luxury of having any freedom, as opposed to what I've given you. Now, your little friends are probably waiting for you down there on the mortal plane, because their parents are indisposed. But I guess you would also like for your father to be similarly indisposed, because gods forbid you have something nice for yourself.
I would like something nice, but I have to say that your freedom is more important, Daddy.
You don't even believe it.
Of course I don't. I want something nice.
Fine, you'll have something nice when you go back to Earth. Anything
good.
else I can do for you? Oh,
Can I-
pieces of advice, yes. What you just did on Mount Fuji, never do that again. With any other religion, with any other culture, with any other silly ideas you might have of trying to reach out to any one of us.
Well, how am I supposed to get in contact with you then?
Can't believe. Oh, I can't believe it. I will give you 2 things in one piece of advice. How's that?
Okay.
Good. He reaches out behind your ear and flicks out a quarter
Holy shit.
with his face on it. Put that into any payphone, and you can call me. Careful, the long distance charges are ungodly. And as for the other, you'll have it once you are back home. All right?
Okay.
Goodbye.
Wait, can I...
He snaps his fingers, and you fall through the ground, through the soil, then through clouds, through sky. And you come crashing down on the plateau with a thud and a crack.
Oh shit, Karen, are you okay?
Kieran is going to take
Oh,
3 injuries.
God, okay. What? Yeah, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
And your specific injury right now is going to be broken leg.
Oh, God, okay. Good.
And as you fall, break a leg, the time stop is over. Everyone, humans included, have just seen this man appear out of nowhere and fall to the ground. Like you jumped off a plane, forgot to put a parachute on.
I think we should grab Finbar and get out of here.
Finbar is nowhere to be seen.
Well, so much for that plan.
He's gonna try and salvage this. You just look at the people like, and just like in Japanese, just say movie magic. We're done. All right, we're cut.
Like, people look at each other and then around. Some of them tentatively, they applaud a little.
She'll point at a distant, like if there's a section with trees, she'll put a thumbs up, like she's thumbing up, like giving like sign to like a camera at people. She's just trying to salvage this. Looking at Kieran, who obviously just fell from the sky.
Kieran, whose leg is in the process of mending itself.
Oh,
It's broken in like 5 different places, and it's just clicking back together.
okay. Well,
So
that's gross.
mechanically, Kieran, you're gonna heal completely.
Dee was about to like,
Like,
Like
that's
physically,
fine.
yeah, but I don't know about psychologically watching my leg just like mend itself and fast forward. That's like,
And as your leg finishes mending, a cane materializes out of thin air and falls on your lap.
Huh.
It is this straight, very elegant cane. The head of which is a actually like the way the handle is built. It's not like a regular handle that you would have. It's more of a sort of like pommel almost. Three heads,
Ooh.
a snake, a wolf, and a horse. And we're gonna end on that today.
Just as we just keep looking up in the sky,
As-
see if there's anything else that falls from there. Because we just had Tooth like just sit there, just like.
I will, just for the sake of our next session, because there's a reason that Finbar isn't there. Finbar has his own stuff to deal with.
Yes.
But do the three of you leave Mount Fuji? And if so, I would like to know your destination.
Ooh.
Where are you going?
I mean, I'll see what the others think, but my gut instinct is we get out of here and we can find Finbar later. He can take care of himself, and it's probably better to get away from the scene right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Especially since D shouldn't be on camera still here.
No.
I think that Morning will try and shift in front at all times and kind of
Yeah, no one should bother the director, I mean.
yeah.
And so we'll pick our game back when you're at the foot of Mount Fuji for next time.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, then in that case, thank you everyone for coming.
Woo!
That was Scion and the second meeting with the Divine Parents. Actually, the first meeting since your visitation.
Yeah.
Things were said, things were
100%.
witnessed. But it is just the beginning. Just the beginning. That said, let's go around the table. If you have players, anything to shout out, anywhere that you that we can find you on the internets, now is the time to let everyone know. And we'll start with we'll do same order as we did the intros. So we will begin with Morning.
Hi, I'm Renee Rhodes. I've played Morning today. We use she, her pronouns. I am on Twitter at RayDNR, which is where you can find pretty much everything I'm involved in. I do a lot of promotion there, as well as sharing pictures of my cats and a lot of random thoughts, because unfortunately, I haven't been able to create as much lately. I'm glad to be here every week. This is pretty much the only consistent appearance I have right now. If that changes in the future, I'll let y'all know here, and of course on that Twitter. But also be sure to follow everyone else. They have more projects going on than I do, and are very worth catching their other characters.
Indeed. Thank you for coming, Renee. Up next, we have Kieran.
Hello, I am Kieran. No, I am Hannah. And you can find me on Twitter at HanimationArt and on Instagram and Facebook at Hanimation Studios. And you can find me back here next Thursday, yes, for some inspectors at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then on Saturday again for Scion. And I don't know if the schedule is still holding, but next Saturday I'm also going to be on Praxagor Thesmophoria's channel at 8 p.m. for some Mechton. So you'll be as surprised as I am about what's happening. Thank you so much for having me here, Simon. It was a lot of fun. Can't wait for next week.
You're very welcome. And last but not least, D.
Hey, I'm Lynn. You can catch me everywhere. Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, all those places at Gremlin Art. You can find my art there and what I'm doing throughout the week. Next time you'll see me is actually in a little over an hour on Praxagor Thesmophoria's channel for Starblade Battalion and Mechton game, where bunch of it's weird having a emotionally like healthy characters who will talk out their problems and like grievances, and we're in an okay place. I think we might be crashing a wedding, I think, or going to crash. I don't know. It's gonna be chaos though. And next time, and then after that, you'll on Tuesday for Uali, a Red Wall story on the amphitheater, and on Thursday is actually going to be the premiere of Blood In, Blood Out, a Blazing Dark game, which I love. That's going to be on amphitheater as well, where I get to play a spooky whisper that loves ghosts.
Nice. And I am Simon at Wandering DM. This was a Wandering Society game. You can find me over on Praxagora Thesmophoria. No, I think we don't have Witcher tomorrow. We might have Witcher tomorrow. We might not. I don't remember, but there was something that was up in the air. And then on Thursday for Inspectors, of course. And then back here on next Saturday for some more Scion. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. Thank you to everyone who hung out in chat. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you for the subs and the follows. And we will catch you again next week for some more divine shenanigans, I guess. Bye-bye.
We're good at those divine shenanigans.
Hey, it's me, Puppet DM, and I'm here to tell you all about the sponsors we have here at the Wandering Society. We're sponsored here by Mage Hand Press, makers of a bunch of 5th edition supplements, like the Book of Kobold or their series of new classes. And don't forget, Arcmada, the amazing sci-fi fantasy campaign setting for the world's greatest role-playing game. Be sure to check them out at store.mageandpress.com. Up next, we have Roll20. It's the platform we use here at the Wandering Society to play all of our games. It's easy to use, intuitive, and it now comes with dark mode. Be sure to check them out at roll20.net. We're also sponsored by R. Talsorian Games. R. Talsorian Games make great RPGs, and they've been doing so since the early 90s. Check their books. They've got Cyberpunk Red, which Simon tells me has been played here extensively, Castle Falkenstein, which also has been played here, and The Witcher, which has also been. Okay, we get it! Check him out at your FLGS or online at rtalsoriangames.com. Have you ever wanted to wake up and smell the coffee? Well, now you can with this next sponsor, Found Familiar. Get yourself some damn good coffee at foundfamiliar.com and use the code on the screen to get 15% off. What do you mean I can't drink coffee? What the fuck is felt? And we couldn't end this segment without talking about our good friends at Die Hard Dice. That's right. As a Dice affiliate, we are proud to partner with Die Hard Dice to bring you only the best in shiny click-clacks. Click-clacks? What is... Ow. You can check their ever-growing collection over at dieharddice.com and use the link below to get 15% off. You're putting this all on me? I better get a cut.